Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Career Hustle and Flow podcast and live stream. I am your host, June Colaroso, a tech recruiter, career strategist, millennial mom, first gen. I wear many hats. I'm super excited to welcome you to this podcast stream and welcome my guests, my very special guests. And just want to know where you're tuning in from. Please comment below where you're from. Thank you for showing up for yourself today. I'm super excited to talk about all things personal branding when it comes to LinkedIn and welcome my special guest, Salina Yeung. She is the CEO of the In Academy, and she actually started this business and company in the middle of the pandemic and during COVID-19, and that's when we actually met. And Salina is not only the founder and CEO of the In Academy, but she's also a LinkedIn expert and coach. She's also a LinkedIn instructor, and really can't wait to share all of her LinkedIn gems. So let's welcome Salina to the show.
Hello, June.
Salina.
I'm so excited for this. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited, and I'm a little off today because I had this really cute banner that was going to be on the show, and it's not showing, but it's all good. We're just
don't worry. It's all about the content
and our
conversation.
Well, welcome, Salina. I'm so excited to have you here. I know you are in Miami, I believe, so I think it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it is 8. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so,
getting dark, but it's still beautiful weather today.
Did you have your coffee?
Yeah, I do. I still have my coffee. The end of it.
Well, welcome. Yeah, I do know you and your iced coffee and your nitro coffee as well. But we've known each other for, can you believe it? I want to say a little bit over 3 years.
Yeah, I think so.
It's been 3 years since we met. But can you give a quick intro for our listeners and for everyone that's watching today?
Yeah, sure. So we're the In Academy. I'm Salina again. I love what June is doing, and I'm just so glad we got to basically do this show, recording this amazing podcast that she's like basically launching really soon. And both of us actually crossed paths 3 years ago. And going back 3 years ago, I am in the obviously it's COVID. Everybody know what's happened. But long story short, it's actually the toughest time of my life because I was in a long distant relationship with my family for 5 years. And COVID really makes me realize what is my main priorities for life. Like, do I want to continue be who I am and continue climbing up the corporate ladder, despite I'm really enjoying, my sort of like career at LinkedIn. I felt such accomplishment working for them, and I really truly enjoy my role. But at the same time, it really makes me realize what is really important in life, and that is the time that I was like, you know what? Flight is no longer available. I miss my family, and I'm going to just do this pivot and just go with it. So I quit my job, no plan, no cushion,
no backup plan.
Super freaked out, nothing available at that moment, and I decided to blog, and I decided to talk about how professional can use LinkedIn, how people can basically use LinkedIn for their business, because I see this like little gap that LinkedIn have been assisting a lot of like enterprise level clients, and I was like, how about small business owner that don't have a budget, don't know how to basically use LinkedIn for their business? So I started blogging that, and my old clients come back to me, and that's become my very first clients, and the rest is history. And that's how the In Academy is born.
I know, it's been so amazing to see your journey. And I was actually watching an old live that we did, and we talked about, how you had to make that change of leaving LinkedIn. And I knew you love LinkedIn, but you had to do that for sacrifices for your family, right?
Yeah.
And I remember watching that episode, and I was kind of asking you like what kind of sparked this idea of starting this business. And I remember you talking about how you essentially you were writing a blog, or you're just sharing free advice, right? And then people started gravitating towards you and asking you for help.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Yeah. And then it just when, a lot of people just get very popular with, certain blogs, and just they reshare it. And at the same time, like, obviously it's great for me to know it by signal. There is people wanted to pay me for it. And I was like, okay, then I guess this is a great business idea. And then everything just basically started from there. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved how you turned your passion, and what you were essentially just doing at LinkedIn, just helping your network, and then it eventually evolved to the N Academy.
Yeah.
And now you are everywhere. I see you everywhere. I'm so proud of you. And we're going to do more of like a deeper dive, but I usually like to ask this question. It's more of like an icebreaker. I know that we have a lot of employees, business owners, a lot of professionals here, but we usually tend to start off meetings with an icebreaker question.
Sure.
So my icebreaker question for you is, this is Career Hustle and Flow. And, obviously we're talking about like, you've been watching me like as far as what I'm doing on Instagram, like dancing, I love music. And I want to ask you this. When you are getting ready to say, teach a workshop or teach or work with a client or doing a speaking engagement, and we all experience a little bit of nerves, right? Before we go on stage to talk to an audience, right? I was feeling like nervous. I actually texted Valerie, who's watching right now. I texted her. I said, why do I always feel like I want to throw up before I go on live? So my question for you, Salina, is when you are feeling that self-doubt, when you are feeling those nerves, what is your favorite hype song?
Oh my
or
goodness.
genre of music? And we see you dancing on your LinkedIn videos. I know you have some moves. But what is your favorite hype song that gets you into that creative flow or gives you that boost of confidence when you need it?
Yeah, I'm going to show you. That's my
Ooh.
song.
Oh.
It's Elton John, Cold Heart with Dua Lipa. It's like my hype song at all
Ooh.
time. Come on, this is
Let me
so
show
good.
you. I have to look that up. Oh my
I'm just like,
goodness.
just do like a 5 second, see anybody gets it.
I
That's
love
my
that.
hype song.
Let me show you. I thought you were going to actually get up and dance and show me. That would have been epic if you played it and then showed me a little
It
dance.
is a live show, so I could.
Not to put you in a spot, but let us know, everyone that's watching, what is your favorite hype song that gets you in the mood, gets you in the groove? I see a lot of friends here, Claire, Anna, Vincent. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you all for just being here and just building community. We definitely need this during these times, right? So let us know what your favorite hype songs are. But great. So thank you for sharing your favorite song, Salina. So let's go ahead and just kind of do a little bit more of like a deeper dive. Oh, my old coworker says, I like that song too. Shout out to Dee Dee.
Yeah.
Hi, Dee Dee. Thanks for being here. But yeah, let's kind of backtrack and talk about, how you founded the N Academy. Essentially you started just blogging, then you started working with clients. I do want to ask you this, what was there like, was there any like roadblocks in the very beginning of your business?
Absolutely. I think so talk about roadblocks, there's so many, but I would start with the most important one, and I think I'm still working through it. It's basically the sense of pride. I felt like there's a huge pride of me, like, coming from a corporate manager role, a background, and then, starting your own business. I felt like I'm jumping in the role and feel like I know it all. And literally, I realized the more that I built, I was like, oh my gosh, I know so little of being a very successful marketer. Despite I've been the marketers and sales role for like more than 12, 15 years. And I realized, oh my gosh, I don't know much about everything. And this is like one of the big aha moment for me, as well as a roadblock for me to grow initially for the first like 6 to I think up to 9 months. And later when I realized I actually have so many like sort of like gap between my knowledge, I really take the chances and also upgraded myself like professionally and personally in terms of like some of the gap of like knowledge gap, some of the skills gap that I needed in order to become a better coach as well as a better entrepreneur.
Let me ask you this. Like you mentioned that like you were doing like an inventory check of the skills that you have and actually needed, and you noticed that there were some gaps there. And you invested yourself. You started taking kind of maybe investing with working with our coaches or maybe online courses. Did you wait until you gathered more knowledge to be a better coach for your clients? Or the reason why I'm asking this is because we tend to have all these great ideas that
Yeah.
we want to do, but we're like, we get into that analysis paralysis that you kind of mentioned. Did you let that stop you from like starting to work with clients, or were you just like, you know what, I'm gonna use what I have, what I in that experience, and I'm gonna leverage this experience as I continue to invest in my business and development?
That's an interesting question. I would say I'm somewhere in between because I felt
Mm,
like I try to basically, I do have a lot of expertise and knowledge when it comes to LinkedIn growth. But in terms of like how I be able to like truly streamline my entire client experience, I felt like I'm really missing that gap. So from that sense, that crossroad, that point, I realized I need to invest in a coach. And then from there, just like everything just started to basically place together because I do like believe investing in a coach. And I do, once I invest in a coach, I get amazing result knowing that it's going to help me fast track my result, understanding how I can build my business in a way that truly makes sense for me and truly makes sense for my clients to create that amazing client journey for them and get most out of my coaching, get most out of my knowledge. So yeah, I would say in the middle. I hope that answered the question well.
that no, it does. But you know what? Like you have to probably like really be honest with yourself, right? As
Yeah.
far as like being vulnerable of understanding where the gaps are. But the fact that you're like, that's okay, I'm gonna go ahead and invest in a coach. And we're all coaches here. And like
Yeah.
sometimes coaches need coaches. I mean, if
Yeah.
we want to be a better coach for our clients, we have to kind of take that to the next level and learn different practices and strategies. And we did that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the interesting thing that we talk about investing, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people often are afraid, including myself. And it's kind of interesting when you say yes to someone, you're saying yes to yourself as well. When you're reinvesting this beautiful, like virtuous cycle, it comes back to you ultimately. I felt like, and you're be able to invest to other people's expertise. You're also opening doors for other people to invest in you because you're improving your product, you're improving your solution, you're improving the way how you present yourself, how you market and sell yourself, and sales will come naturally to you because you're having more clarity in terms of that. So it's this like beautiful positive circle that we're coming back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It kind of like did like a whole 180 and like a full circle moment, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you another question here too, just because with all of these mass layoffs that's happening,
Yeah.
and we saw this happening too during the pandemic, where people lost their jobs, like myself. I couldn't go back to work because I was helping my kids um, with virtual learning. So I decided to try the entrepreneur route, and I started a career coaching business. Right, that's how we met,
Yeah.
and we tend to see that in like recessions or when we see mass layoffs happening. We saw a lot of that in COVID. Everyone started something, some kind of side hustle, right? Oh my gosh, where am I going with this? Okay, this is my question. My question is this: now that you are a well-established entrepreneur and you found so much success, was there one thing that you wish you would have known early on in your entrepreneurship journey that you know now?
Oh, there's so much, right? We talk about the knowledge gap that there is, but interestingly, I would say mindset. I know it's such a
Mm,
bland answer, but I truly believe mindset are what 95% of driven to smart decision making when it comes to, despite whether you're an entrepreneur or not, or a side hustler, or you're a corporate employees, having that really like growth mindset is going to really bring you to the next level, whatever that you desire to be, whatever like that you set your mind and heart to. So I think mindset wise is one of the things that I hope that I would be able to have it before, but I'm still growing as I continue growing my business as well.
yeah, yeah. and mindset like grows over time. It grows through like failures, right? And different obstacles that we've experienced. It just, if anything, it just builds to our resilience, right? So I love that.
Yeah.
Now at the Ed Academy, like how do you help your clients?
Yeah, sure. So we actually help our clients to do three things. Is to really build a powerful personal brand that win them eyeballs. We call it visibility. Win them trust, which is the most, the social currency that everybody wanted to basically acquire right now, as well as winning clients. So I have three programs. The very first program is all about like how they can build their personal brand. The second program is all about how to create content that truly open hearts and wallet. And then the last program is all about like how to use LinkedIn for lead generation.
Right. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's great. And then I know we talk about too, like since we, we've became friends, there is a lot of like speaking from my experience, like my network. I wanted to ask you this advice here because we definitely see a lot of entrepreneurs, small businesses, and that's like your main client group that you support. Um, but I definitely want to kind of hear your tips for like everyone that's watching today, listening, when it comes to just having a personal brand, whether you're an entrepreneur or a professional or a job seeker, right? Why do you think that there's so much when it comes to creating content? Because like for me personally, you know this, I never really started sharing content until I experienced a job loss, and I never really promoted myself as an industry expert, as a recruiting professional, right? I was always
Yeah.
promoting other companies I was working for.
Yeah.
Why do you think people are so nervous to show up on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I love that question because I felt like when you're an adult, you don't know how to do something, you just immediately go on to this, fight mode, and you wouldn't be able to basically go over this hurdle. And I think majority of us who is not creating content for the longest time, showing up online the way how we are, and we realize this is such a big hurdle to go, and we built up story, going back to the mindset question mindset, the growth mindset that I talk about, they just limit themselves and thinking like, oh, if I post this post, what if other people, what did other people is going to think about that? And the reality, you're not there to have the audience to see your post and judge it yet, right? Like, so think about that and think about your why. I always go back to my clients like, when they're creating content, they're like, oh my God, Salina, I have such bad like performances. This is something about me. Is it something, something that I did is not well? I was like, okay, I'm going to give you best practice. I'm going to give you actionable tips to improve. But I want to go back to you. Why are you creating this pieces of content? What's the purpose of this? Is it about lead generation? Is it about helping others? Is it about educating? Is it about even entertaining? And I know majority of your content is edutaining, which is really fun, right?
Entertainment,
Yeah.
yes. Yours is too.
Entertainment. Yeah, exactly. And what is it that you wanted to basically by the end of the day to take from it, right? Is it building a personal brand? Is it to like having this side hustle that you're very passionate about working on and helping people? Like, what is it that you wanted to do? And when you have that clarity, you'll be able to basically translate through your content very well. And that's how I see it when it comes to like pursuing your passion. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Like, kind of like before you even start posting or putting yourself out there, understanding your why.
Yeah.
What do you want people to walk away from one of your posts if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, or a
Yeah.
job seeker, right?
Yeah.
For me, like, and I know we see a lot of personal branding coaches everywhere, right? And some people that I didn't even like, so some people don't even know what a personal brand is. I didn't know what it was until I lost my job. And I'm like, who the hell am I without this job that I work for?
Yeah.
And I want to get your take on it because for me, when it comes to like professionals and job seekers, your personal brand is many things outside of your education and your experience.
Yeah.
It also incorporates your passions, your hobbies, your failures, how you learn from those failures, and how you show up as an employee, as a friend, as a mother, you know, and you just get like bits and pieces of all of those aspects in your life. That's what your personal brand is to
It
me.
is. Yeah. And I agree with you. That's how it is. And I think to put it in simple one sentence, it's an extension of who you are online. That's literally what personal branding is. It shouldn't be an identity that is not you. It should be an identity is you, but you want to put it online and share your expertise. You want to be able to like emulate your story. You want it to be able to amplify your voice and to find a channel that truly helps you to do that. And for me to do that, it's LinkedIn. And I know for you as well. So I think that to me is a personal branding means.
Yeah. And like as far as like why, and like for both of us, obviously like LinkedIn is our jam, it's our favorite platform.
Yes.
But I want to talk about the power of this platform as far as exposure. Because remember, like back in 20, I feel like 2020, when we crossed paths, it was a different, like no one was really showing up on video,
Yeah.
right? It was very scary for me. But then I saw the opportunity because I know the stats are different as far as the amount of users. I think it's like maybe 900 million users now.
Yeah.
And like 30 million companies. And for me, when I realized as a job seeker, as a career coach, that the reach from creating a post, a text post or a video is like literally limitless. It's like I think back in 2020 it was like 1% of users
Or
were
creating content on LinkedIn. Yeah.
and that's a huge opportunity for anyone. And especially like that's why I'm always telling job seekers it's going to take a little bit more than just submitting your online application or resume.
Yeah.
Start thinking about how you could show up in different ways by either text post, you could show off your expertise, you could share advice. Like there's just so much different avenues on LinkedIn that you could stand out
Yeah.
in like a mass like a mass group of like people.
Of course.
What is your take on that?
Yeah, I truly think the true differentiator on LinkedIn, it's people really on this platform. They're really highly educated. They are, people that is making decision, right? So when we're talking about like personal branding from a career perspective, all the recruiters are here, all the hiring managers are making decision for their company to find their talents. Then my question for you, why are you not creating your brand here? But whereas you create your brand on maybe Instagram or TikTok, right?
Right.
And the audiences are so different, right? So to me, this is like a first piece that I don't understand why people don't see the power of LinkedIn just purely on that. And the growth potential of LinkedIn is incredible. We talk about that. Obviously, I'm super biased. I used to work for them, but I truly believe there's a reason for why there's such slow implementation of some of the new feature. But I do believe they are, finding, went above and beyond, trying to find different ways to create this a better platform. Like you said, June, one of the things that I find is so different right now, LinkedIn back in 2020, they're not really focusing on LinkedIn Learning, right? LinkedIn Learning is now like a huge focus over there. They recently changed their UX where they are really highly focusing on content, where when you check out someone's profile, the content is like really up in the top of their profile right now, and you would be able to prioritize that as well. Like if you want to show your video, you can just by a few clicks, right? And the profile customization is a lot more flexible than 3 years ago when we met, right? So I think that's the beauty, and I know you yourself included, because you build this powerful personal and professional brand yourself, you get so many amazing opportunity you wouldn't be able to get elsewhere, right? You are being invited to speak to LinkedIn news team,
Right.
Andrew, with like and all these PR feature. And because you built and take the time to build this personal brand on LinkedIn. And that's to me is the power of it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I never would imagine like having a LinkedIn live show. Like I've always wanted to be a talk show host. And it all happened because I just started showing up on LinkedIn and just sharing advice from a recruiter perspective, right? And that helped job seekers, thousands of job seekers, right? And I think what is like your tips on like overcoming that imposter syndrome? I think coming from a corporate perspective and being an employee, I think a lot of people, including myself, were intimidated by showing up on the platform because most of our coworkers are here, our
Yeah.
managers, right? C-level executives. What is your tips on like your quick tip on how to overcome that imposter syndrome before showing up on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I would actually go back to again the why you're
Yeah.
creating this piece of content, right? Let's give example. This month is mental health. This month is Asian Heritage Month, and both of us are Asian, and
Right.
I love to basically amplify our voices through my own story as growing up as an Asian, living in US, living in elsewhere in the country. How do I feel about my experience? And I hope my story is going to impact others. And that's my why. And that's why I create this, right? So why would you be afraid and have that imposter syndrome when you're like, that's your why? You want to show up online, sharing your story in order to have other people resonate to it and learn from it or help other people, right? And
Mhm.
that to me, there's no brainer to have that sort of like um imposter syndrome to not post that pieces of content. So when you know your why, you have very, very like clear clarity of not really care about what other people think about that pieces of content. And I think that's easier. Another completely different sort of like tips. And I think you have been doing it really, really well, June, yourself. You're a corporate employee. You're very, very successful in your role. And I know you have, tons of amazing relationship with your colleagues and you collaborate with them
Mhm.
through live show, through podcast, through this type of sort of like content where you're professionally like sharing your knowledge. And that is another way of showing up online and sharing your expertise in a way that actually it's yourself and it's felt comfortable and natural, that you wouldn't felt like, oh, I'm just sharing my piece and not getting a green light from communication team. You don't have
Right.
when
Yes.
you are talking with your colleagues and sharing your voices
Yes.
through here. And I think that's also helps your brand, vice versa as well, because that's employee branding, right? You're
For
getting
sure.
free advertisement for their brand. And the question is, why not? Why
Right.
are you not doing that?
Yeah, I love that you mentioned that as like employer branding because I feel like even before I started um, at my company that I work for, because I really had like a really well established brand, I
Yeah.
was reached out from
For
like
multiple different offers. I remember.
offers I'm seeing internally where I work at,
Yes.
people in
High up.
higher up saying, I want to like your advice. I want to do what you're doing. How
Amazing.
did you do it? So it not only like when you're showing up on LinkedIn and you're sharing your expertise and just having conversations, sharing advice, sharing your stories, you are not only building your brand externally and also kind of boosting your employer branding, but you're also building your brand internally where
Yeah,
you're working for the company that you're working for,
for sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I
And
think one thing that you mentioned that really are close to my heart when it comes to creating content is to find out your specialties. And I think
ooh,
you are
yeah.
very like you're super clear about what you're really good at. To me, it's like, talking with people, interviewing with people, showing up online through video. So there's like obviously there is clients of mine that it's not really good at public speaking. They don't feel confidence about showing online video wise, right? Then you might not be a public speaker type of content creator. Then consider doing like writing, doing LinkedIn
Right.
article, doing like long form text posts, talk about certain things that it's, just purely using the power of copy. And I know a few people on LinkedIn, super successful, never show their face, but just truly using their great copy, right? So find that out. Or maybe you're not a copywriter nor a public speaker. Maybe you're a graphic designer. I know forgot her last name. Liz. She's this amazing graphic designer where she drew like different like career sort of like graphic.
Yeah.
I forgot her name, but if that comes back to me, I will share. But she had been like this viral carousel that it's being, sort of like reshare 100 times
Yeah.
on LinkedIn, but also in other social media platform, because she honed into her own specialties. So I challenge whoever that is listening to us right now, think about your why and then go and think about your specialties. I know a lot of people would advise you to go and like copy other people or check out other people's and how what is the best practice. I think that's important down the road, but go back to you, what some of the things that really echoes to what your expertise are. Like, what is it that you want to show up online? Is it through video? Is it through a long form article? Is it through like graphic, like carousel? Then
Mhm.
hone in on that and then continues growing as a better creator from there.
Yeah, I love that. I don't know who this LinkedIn user is. It's once you know your why, everything will fall into place.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's definitely important. And if you don't know what you're good at or what your strengths are, I think it's also a great way to identify this is asking your peers,
Yeah.
asking your coworkers,
I
asking
love
your
that.
clients,
I love
asking
that.
your mom. You
Yeah.
know, like for me, it's like, if you don't know the words that describe you, like I would ask Lena, what are some words that just best describe me, right? And you would tell me, and I would use that and be like, okay, how can I build on that,
Yeah.
right? And I love how you said that if you're not a public speaker, if video intimidates you, don't do a video, do a
Yeah.
text post. I think what's great about LinkedIn is it's very inclusive. You could write blogs, text posts, videos, and we used to be able to do stories back in the
I
day.
know.
That
I
was
love
so fun.
story. I've been talking with the project manager for the longest time.
Can
It's
they
like,
bring it
why
back?
did you kill the
Why
story
did they kill
feature?
it? I just loved it because it got me to like I was able to like connect with my like friends on LinkedIn in a
I
different
know.
way. I'm
Me
like, what are you
too.
doing, Selena? Where are you going at?
I know. And I
Where are you
love the
traveling to?
feature because I get like a few CEO, like big fortune on like a fortune, 1,000 CEOs watching my stories. Like, whoa, like that's
Yes.
interesting, right?
Yes.
And now it's like they kill the story feature. Hopefully they will bring it back
Hopefully they do.
for that. Yeah.
I hope they do. But another thing that I want to put out there too is again, like once you know your why and once you have like your best intentions and you kind of once you like stop the noise in your head of assumptions of what people are going to think,
Yes.
um and you start kind of doing it in a daily basis, like you flex that muscle of being creative, it's
Yeah.
just going to come naturally for you.
Very
Like
much.
I remember like I just used to post every single day. And then what's great about this community, I feel like too, is because I took a long break from doing content, they always welcome you back with open
Yes.
arms,
Yes.
right? And another thing too I wanted to point out too is you just never know who is reading and consuming your content. You
Yeah.
don't
That's
know
a
who you're
very
impacting.
important piece.
And for me, it's like I didn't know the senior editor of LinkedIn News, Andrew Seaman, was watching my lives. I
Yeah.
had no idea. And then he reached out to me. I'm like, how are you reaching out to me? Like, I'm just me, my little, like, I only had to be like
Doing
10,000
my own
followers.
thing.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what? He said, no, June, I've been watching your lives. What you do is
Wow.
great.
Love that.
And another thing, like, I want to share my why a little bit too. And I kind of want to go into talking about, it's Asian American Pacific Islander Month.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I show up on LinkedIn is I don't see anyone that looks like me on LinkedIn. I'm a first generation Filipino American, and I didn't see anyone until I saw Tisha Pelletier, who's also a business coach. You know who Tisha is, right?
Yes.
And she's Filipino American, and she was doing those convo on my Camry videos. And I had the pleasure to meet with her last year for the first time.
That's
And
awesome.
like I literally, when I saw her on my feed, I sent her a ping, and I'm like, I'm also Filipino. It's so great to see you. So where I'm going with this, it's so important. Representation matters, and if you don't
Yes.
like what you see, if you don't see enough of yourself, then change it,
Yeah.
right?
I love that. I love the the inclusive piece that you mentioned from the content perspective. The platform allows us to do that, but importantly, it's like the community, right? And you showing up representing you, your community, like us as Asian, we can be able to be loud. We're be able to like talk about things. we have an opinion, like things like that matters. And you will be able to inspire other Asians, other people that looking like you. It's going to create that piece of content as well. So I think that is really, really important. I like one of the LinkedIn user asked the question, what
Yeah,
kind
let's
of
answer this.
content?
Yeah. What kind of content were you posting every single day? Was it always video? Do you plan it all in advance? It seems so overwhelming. I'll give you my short answer. And Selena knows this. She
Yeah.
knows I'm multi-passionate. I was posting all kinds of things, text posts, videos, doing LinkedIn live streams. But that's because I love doing what I do, right? But now because I work full-time as a full-time employee, I only do what I can handle, and I think it's just like you have to kind of find what's going to work for you. If you want to just put yourself out there and just kind of test, but you say if you don't even want to post content yet, I always say just start commenting on people's posts because that's content.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like the engagement is going to help you later when you do decide to post on LinkedIn. You already have a warm up audience. So when you do post, it's like scary for you because there's people already knowing your face. There's people attaching your face with, good quality content. Oh, this is a person that have support me previously. And now this person is creating content on LinkedIn. Let me support them, vice versa. Yeah.
I love that this, I think this is Christine. I don't know why you're showing up as LinkedIn user, but representation does matter and everyone should be able to see themselves on LinkedIn.
Yes, Christine. Absolutely.
Yes, I love that. Okay, I want to wrap it up here soon because you have a 9:00 appointment.
Yes, I do. But it was so fun chatting with you.
I know. I have one last question for you. So here at Career Hustle and Flow, I'm all about helping people find their moment of flow. And that's when you feel unstoppable.
Yeah.
You're in that zone of clarity, that focus, you feel at your ultimate confidence. And I think the best way to help the listeners and whoever's watching on LinkedIn Live understand or get inspired to get into that creative flow is hear from yourself.
Yeah.
So for you, Salina, what does that look like for you when you feel the most productive? What's your environment? What are you doing? What are you listening to?
Wow, this is such a powerful question. I would say, is it possible not like Monday to Friday? Actually, my flow, like especially content as well as like great new business idea is when I'm most relaxed. And I talk about these pieces a lot with, my clients, with my audiences as well. There's this like dopamine, like basically psychology, right? When your mind feel rested, you are much more productive as a person and you will be able to have the most optimized sort of like brain for you to digest and make like important business decisions. So to me, my ultimate sense of flow, it's when I'm fully relaxed. And that place is usually beach or so I'm living in this beautiful apartment building and there's like a pool down there where sometimes I'll go in the early morning and just do like a quick swim or just like basically putting my body down in the swimming pool doing nothing, but it just basically relax me. So find that peace and find that place for you to feel relaxed, and those are what is my ultimate sense of flow.
Ooh, I love that. Being outside, basically.
Yeah, like being outside.
Yeah.
I think I remember you create a video about like take some time smelling the roses, and sometimes it's so important. Like despite you're a small business owner, side hustler, or an employee, like you need to basically rest up to feel completely productive next day, to basically show up for your job, show up for your audiences if you're a creator like myself. So I think that is a great question. Yeah.
Thank you.
How about you? What's your ultimate sense of flow? I'm intrigued.
You know this, Selena. It's like when I'm dancing, when I'm outside.
I was thinking about that.
It's dancing for sure. And I've been obsessed with extreme hip hop step. And it's a great way just to get a workout in. and I'm not thinking about anything else.
Yeah.
And you know what's great about that workout is you practice active listening.
Mm,
And that's something that
love
I'm
that.
trying to practice more. And I feel like podcasts, it's helping me because
Yeah.
it's making me like, I'm learning how to be a better host, right? And
Mm,
for me, it's like for the workout, it's you have to wait until the instructor calls out these moves.
yeah.
And if you don't listen, you're gonna fall off the board,
Yeah.
right? So it's a great workout.
That's awesome.
And
I
then
love
one,
that. I love you
yeah,
using your dancing to even learn something, how you can be a
yes,
better active listener, and at the same time how you can grow your podcast show. So it's everything, it's
it's all
interconnected.
connected.
I truly believe. And
It's
similarly for relationship, I think
oh,
that is one of the piece that I think a lot of people forget here and there. Like I
yeah,
felt like if you have an amazing relationship with your friends, with your network, like you and me, we're friends for 3 years, we're like texting here and there, WhatsApp, like checking in with each other. When you do take the time for other people to do that, you are going to go to big places because you do invest in relationship, and that is going to come back to you. Like every time when I think about who is the best career coach or someone's from Meta, which truly really cares about people, they wanted to find new job at Meta, you'll be the first one I want to connect someone's with, right? And equally like vice versa, when someone is looking for a LinkedIn for a business coach, you think about me. So
all
that's
the
the
time.
beauty of like really building relationship and investing in it.
Yeah, relationships. Yeah, you got to nurture that. Your network is your currency,
Your net
right?
worth, exactly.
That net worth and currency. One
Yes.
last question. I swear I'll let you go.
No, I love the ultimate
Yeah,
sense of flow. I'm going to
yeah.
steal it from you. I'll be like, this is actually a questions from June, but I'm going to steal it.
Oh, it's about like Asian American like heritage. So, what is like your favorite tradition in your culture,
Oh,
or maybe food, or whatever you want to share?
oh, there's so many, but I would say about sharing. I think one thing that I love Asian culture so much, like in general, not just Chinese, my background from Hong Kong, Filipinos, I think also have
Yeah,
very similar. I think we just love sharing. Like one of the things that, so I have Swiss German husband. And one of the things I remember when we first dated, he never really understand why I wanted to eat the plate of his food. He think it's rude. He think it's weird.
so
And I was like, but that should be how it is. So we, brought 2 meals and I would be able to share and try yours and you can try mine. And to me, this is like so mind blowing knowing that there's culture out there. Don't like
cute.
basically I eat my own plate, don't touch my stuff, and it's like I understand the power of individualism, but I
Right,
also love the you know the power of community, or the sense of
same.
like sharing stuff, and not like this is mine, this is yours, this is my territory. To me, I think that's like so beautiful about Asian, is to share stuff and don't mind. Like we always are very generous about our time,
Super.
our
Yeah.
money, our stuff. So I think this is like something I think it's a great quality of Asian people.
Yeah, I'm the same way. And I that's what I learned from my parents is like we may not have a lot, and we didn't have a lot growing up, but we always gave back. My
I love
mom
that.
was always inviting my friends over for a
I love
meal,
that.
right? And our husbands are the same. My husband's also German and Italian, and he does not like to share. He hates it when I pick at his food. But over time, he has become a better sharer. So kudos to my husband, Bernie.
Woohoo!
Thank you so much for taking the kids away from the house so I can do this
Oh, that's
podcast.
so sweet.
Well, I want to let you go, but where can people find you, Salina? How can they
On
connect with you?
LinkedIn, I love seeing people sliding to my DMs, not about
Yes.
pitch, but sliding to my DM, talking, networking, asking questions about how they can use LinkedIn, how to build your powerful brand. So yeah, let's connect. Don't be a stranger. And please, please, please check out all the other episodes that June have. She also
Yes.
always
Thank
bring the
you.
best guests really here. And like the conversation, I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm pretty sure you will learn a lot from her, and also all the content that she's going to put out there for you guys.
Yes. Thank you. Look at you being my champion.
Always,
And
always,
please follow
always.
Salina too. She has amazing content. very fun and educational. I did drop my my website if you want to subscribe to my newsletter to get updates on my podcast. It is going to be launching in the summer. And I also dropped Salina's LinkedIn too on the comment chat. So please connect with her, connect with each other. Thank you everyone for watching. I will be taking a break for the next 2 weeks, but I hope to see you on live soon. And enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you for having me,
June. Of course. Bye.
Now this for everybody fighting through the pain and the pressure.